Another true crime story of how they were caught. The 4th of July in Lakewood, Washington, 9-year-old Cindy Ellinger didn't come home for dinner. She was supposed to be on her way to her friend Raz's house, and she never showed up the next morning, and over 100 volunteers would search for her. Her father was ruled out after having an alibi, and her mother denied involvement, but would fail the polygraph test. Oddly, a psychic would contact police and say that she had a vision or religious experience of a young girl asleep or dead in a field, and she even drew a map for investigators. This time, their second search would be successful in finding her body under a water heater wrapped in blankets. And magically, the psychic was ruled out as a suspect. An autopsy showed Cindy had been assaulted and badly beaten. There was also a high rate of sex offenders in the area, and investigators would rule them out one by one. Forensics would use insect activity to confirm that she did die around the 4th of July. Investigators then learned that she was supposed to be going over to Raz's house, who was not a boy and was in fact a man. Investigators uncovered a disturbing background for Guy Rasmussen, who had served prison time for assaulting a young girl and was even a suspect in 2 other murders, but there was not enough evidence. Guy said he had used a payphone to call a friend and then he went to a concert, but investigators learned that that window before he went to the concert was the time he could have killed her. Investigators were able to collect his clothing he had on during the 4th of July, which was still unwashed in his bathtub. They also located tiny plant material on his shoes and socks and used that to compare to the crime scene. Investigators collected over 12 different seed samples that were the same as from the crime scene. They also were in the same stage of development. They also found a small stain on his shirt, which had 2 profiles on that one stain. One was Cindy's blood, the other was his semen mixed. Stain and the plant evidence confirmed he would have had to have been at the crime scene, and they arrested him while he was performing at a concert. He had not been on the sex offender list because his last conviction was at a time when it wasn't mandatory for him to register. He also lied during his interview, saying he really didn't know the victim, but had met up with her multiple times and even gave her a stuffed animal. It appeared he had been grooming her. Police believe he lured her to an abandoned house, assaulted her, killed her, and then wrapped her up in a blanket and left her in a field. The evidence was able to convict him, and he was given life without parole, and that was how he was caught.